informational portion first, a little bit outside of the sequence, where we'll be dealing with the logo designs, correct?
Yes.
Superintendent? You can take it from here.
Thank you, Vice Chair Soto, and Chairman Thacker will be joining us in just a moment. He had a little family crisis and had to make a phone call. But I'm very, very excited tonight to introduce our community relations folks and our REACH partner to share with you some of the great work that our students and staff members have been engaging in based on the direction of the board to explore logo design. It has truly been a great community partnership, so we're very thankful to Kelly Trace and REACH for giving their time and their expertise to help bring this to a reality, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Schaefer to carry on from there.
Thank you. Well, I first want to start this evening by saying thank you to the board for giving a learning opportunity and experience to our students. The intent the board shared at the very beginning of this project was not to replace the Chief Osceola seal, but yet let's come up with a fresh and exciting new logo that we can use in addition. So our graphic design student teams have worked very, very hard over the last several months, and they're very eager to share their designs tonight. I also cannot fail to mention and express our extreme appreciation to Kelly Trace and all her REACH staff for their time and talent, free of charge for this project. They have been absolutely amazing. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kelly.
All right, well, good evening, and thank you for having us, and thank you for choosing us to be part of this project. It's always a pleasure to work with the district, and I'm personally really passionate about helping our students get opportunities like this, personally, because I'm a product of the district, and if I had an opportunity to do something like this when I was in high school, I would have really, really enjoyed it. So just to kind of recap the project for you guys, we started this project mid-October. We hosted all of these students, wonderful students, at our office. We enjoyed pizza and good conversation, and you guys were, the acting client, obviously the real client, not acting, and you gave them feedback, your thoughts. This is what we're looking
Generally
for.
Confused.
Yes, right. We don't know what we want, but we'll know what we want.
Something. We see it.
Something, and that's a very real thing, y'all. I'm just saying that really happens. So, kind of what we came up with from your feedback, we gave them the absolutely not list of things that we didn't want included, and we kind of created, we used like our real process that we use at REACH when a client comes to us looking for rebranding, and we gave them the opportunity to use our process. We set deliverables throughout the entire way to make sure that they knew, each step and how important each step was. I think as a young graphic designer, my first instinct is to go straight to the computer, and I wanted them to know that there's so much value in just pen and paper and starting there first. So I kind of asked my team this morning briefly in our meeting what they enjoyed the most about this project, because I think even though we primarily did this project for the students, I know a lot of them got a lot of working with them one-on-one as well. Some things they shared was just being able to contribute to the growth of our youth. As an agency, making real impact is our motto, and so I think this certainly meets that standard. It was just really motivating to see really young talent. These students have, worked really hard, and I'm excited to see them give their presentations today. I know a lot of them, when you have a project on a budget, you have to use tools that are at your disposal, and I think a lot of them got really creative with what they had on hand. But probably the most overwhelming feedback I got from my team this morning was just how beautiful it was to watch them see value in their community and see how necessary it is as like being a business partner in education and the value that brings to the table for the students in creating this vision of what the real world is really like. Just some housekeeping type things. I'll just remind the students to take a deep breath. They're not going to bite, I promise. They're just as excited as you are. They're just as excited as you are to hear about your logo directions. I think Reachers, you're going to sit right here to my right and click the slides through for them. Let's see. If you guys have questions about their presentations, if you could just save it until that school's particular presentation is over, just so we don't throw them off.
Sure.
And then just as a reminder, you can do whatever you want at the end of this tonight. You can decide right here that you want to pick the winner that gets to move on and work with us one-on-one to tweak and finesse, or you can sleep on it and then we can notify them on the side, whatever you decide to do, we can have open dialogue. I think it's good experience for them to see what it's like to sit up here and, hear your feedback. That's what I'll call it. No.
I do want to mention just real quickly too, I just want to keep in mind that Kelly and Reach did all this pro bono. The district has not paid a dime for her services and help.
Thank you.
And I just want to add to that, the principals who've allowed their staff and students to work on this, we hope it's been a good experience for your school and the parents who allowed their kids. I know my hunch is there's several in here that really took this to heart and have spent a lot of their waking moments thinking about this and moving on this. So we really appreciate it. I don't know where this will go. We'll see where it goes, but I can tell you no matter where it goes, the work here is going to instill some thoughts and questions on all our parts, I am sure. And hopefully it's going to be a good learning experience of where these things go. I know I've sat through these in business world, and it's a lot of times very interesting where they turn out. So.
I'd just like to add that, I'm speaking with Miss Kelly, Miss Trace,
Okay.
Kelly earlier today, and I've seen the projects and it's outstanding work. I made it very clear that night that this could all end in nothing, and we could move on. But the reason I thought it was so valuable, and Kelly and I were speaking about this today, was the journey to get here and understanding when you get into the real world, there is a client there, and sometimes they may not pick you, and they may not pick your work, even if you've done extraordinary work. So I can say right now that you've all, by looking through this, have done extraordinary work, and I can see the passion in the work that you've done. So, no matter how it turns out, thank you. I think the journey is the most important part of what's going on here today. Like I said, Kelly and I talked about that earlier. We really believe that this whole process that you guys are getting to work through is a really good experience for all of you. So thank you.
I also want to quickly mention too, we would not be sitting here tonight without Melanie Stepanowitz and Kim Yoho from our Career and Technical Education Department.
So, because you were going to speak.
Okay, I was going to speak totally. Well, for me, I will say that the decision to go with a logo that was made by students, I wasn't part of that. I remember when that meeting happened, I think I was sitting right over there and I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait. When did we make that? October? Before that. It was before October.
I've been trying to do
so
this.
I think, yeah. So I was like, I was just excited to be part of the process. I'm like, oh my gosh, one thing that I knew I was going to be a part of was this, and I am so excited to have the conversations with our students about your work. So that's all.
Very well said. Because I understand that the students are going to be coming here.
They are.
All right. So I have to say I was very, very impressed with every one of these designs. I hope that I understood most of them. So have fun. Don't be. Make sure that you explain the meaning to me, especially to see if I got it right. And let's get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kelly, are you going to kind of lead the
I got
direction
it.
here?
We're gonna.
Is it in order?
We're gonna call it in alphabetical
By
order,
alphabetical order.
Take it away,
and that is
Kelly.
what their slides are in.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. First up is Gateway High School. You guys want to come up here?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Gonzalez. This is my partner.
Caroline Pacheco.
And we're from Gateway High School. Our team is called Innovative Panther Design. Usually our team is much bigger than this, but they had other commitments, so we want to apologize for that. When our graphic designer, Mrs. Cobb, told us about this great opportunity to create a logo for Osceola County, we were kind of excited. We were really, really excited to do this big thing, so we didn't give second thought. We were like, we want something that represents positivity, but at the same time, educational purposes. So we wanted something that was determined as a sun. If we move on. Our research was Osceola County is diverse. We have Hispanic, we have Asians, we have African Americans, we have white people, and we wanted to create something bright, something that represents Osceola as a community. Osceola is where bright futures are formed. This is our our objective, you could say it that way. Osceola is the sunshine state, which is our focal point, is the sun. That stands for positivity. This is our logo. You can see we picked the O as the sun, as a representation. We can move to the tagline. Just a second. Our tagline shows how we see Osceola as an expression of positivity and determination. Move to the other one. Any questions?
So, the sun. What's it mean to you
The sun? Well, basically.
and your team too? You speak for your
Yeah.
whole team.
For the whole team. When we see the sun, not only like literally the sun, but when we see it as in cartoons, when we see it in shows in different ways, the sun symbolized as bright, but we want to use it as the future. Like students have a bright future they can create in Osceola County, and that's why we pick it.
Thank you.
You want to say something?
We picked the sun because we're the Sunshine State. That's obvious. So when you see the logo, the first thing you're gonna see, the first thing you're gonna think is that's Osceola. That's what it represents. I see that it's bright, it's positive, and positive mindset.
It's a beautiful logo. I like the fact that it could just be the symbol by itself
Yeah.
eventually,
Yep.
without the fonts.
Absolutely.
Couldn't say more. I mean, great work. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very nice. When I first look at the sun, I think bright.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like that.
And it just makes you smile. Like I saw it and I was, and I just like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And it's so simple. I like, and actually all of you guys did a really good job of this, just making it a very simple design, but there is so much information and just why you picked the O as the sun, you know, and placing everything, the font that you chose even. Actually, why did you choose that font? What does that represent to you? What font is that? Do you know?
Well.
I'm kind of a nerd, so you don't have to be like so pretty. I don't know.
Well, we picked these two colors, the red and yellow.
Yeah.
Because if you look for the definition of these two colors,
The definition of what?
The definition of these two colors.
Oh, the colors, yeah.
Sorry, I just.
That's okay.
Yellow means happiness, means bright, means
Yeah.
vivid, and red sometimes means aggressive. So we wanted to use those two to combine something
Conjunction.
that determine strength, but at the same time vivid and bright.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. All right.
Thank you.
All right, up next is Liberty High School. I forget the name of that font, but I should know it.
No, I think it's Calvary. I'm just a dork. There's no reason for that.
It's whatever the default is for Mac, I'm pretty sure.
Courier.
It's gonna come to me like you're right. All right, whenever you're ready. Their header slides and it's.
Before I begin, I would like to say thank you for allowing us this opportunity to not only be able to work as a team, but to be able to work with the district as well with the branding project. So I'd like to introduce the team. We have Seraphim, Elvin, and my name is Manushka, and we have Mrs. Inwood, and we represent Liberty High School, and we're called Mike. Motivate, innovate, collaborate. So off the bat, when we got this project back in October, we reviewed the current school district logo, and what I mean by that is we reviewed like the colors that they had, how many, and the simplicity of it. And did we want to keep that format, or did we want to take a unique style with it? And then we discussed the different ways to represent education without actually representing it. And what I mean is not incorporating the apples, the pencils, the rulers, and pens, and everything else in that nature. So how can we represent the students, the communities, the teachers, anyone in Osceola County? And then we viewed and compared different examples of logos and more specifically logos that are out of the state with the school district. Did they incorporate the apples? Or if they did, how did they take that unique style as well? And then we worked with our lead to review what would be the right direction for to take us with that logo. And I really want to emphasize taking that new direction. And then what better way to have that represented is with a pathway. So we included a road and a pathway inside of our mood board, and then the star and the sun. Sun really because it represented Florida, but the star in general, because when you're in school, you get a star, and it represents achievement. So if you put that in the equation itself, we're taking that pathway towards achievement. So with the colors, we decided to keep it simple with the gray, the teal, and the gold. It's more of a simple, elegant colors to have it more versatile. And then those are just examples of different logos that we really liked how simple it was with the star. And then the YMCA, we like the colors and how pleasing it was to the eyes. So this leads us to our final logo, Osceola Schools Paving the Way to Excellence. So really, you see that the road is really inside of the S. So you see how it's curved? There's inside of school, there's different obstacles. So that's why it's not really in a curved way. So the main color is teal, and then the road is gray with the star as gold. And then at the bottom is just a supporting logo, as like if you wanted to incorporate it on t-shirts, cards, hoodies, and anything else in that way. And then it's just different colors. If you wanted to use black and white, a gradient with the teal leading into the gold, and the three supportings, the solid colors, the black and white, and the gradient. Do you have any questions?
I'll begin.
Sorry.
You know, first of all, excellent presentation.
Yes.
I really appreciate that you reminded me about, you know, some of the parameters that we put back a few months ago. And it, you know, it makes your work even more amazing. Yeah, because we did put some constraints. I mean, the first thing you want to do is make an apple or something.
There's no part of this process that was not very real.
So, the logo, I like it. I love it. Okay, I will tell you, there's a lot of creativity that goes into it, a lot of meaning. I think that the road is very interesting to use it in a school concept. But the star at the end, again, I'm thinking about how would this look if I just had it
The pathway to achievement.
without, and exactly, and the lemma. How would it look if I just had that by itself? And does it conjure up those things that you mentioned, you know, about the different obstacles and the road to getting somewhere special where the star leads? You know, I couldn't say anything else. I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Well, I like simple concepts. So again, congratulations on doing that. For me, again, I always think about what does the image say, and I love that you guys used different companies to model yours, or other logos to model your logo on, like the YMCA, for example. So really talking about how does that make you feel. I can see that you guys were really thinking about when someone looks at this logo, what are we saying about our school district with these images put together? So I can really see that that work was done because it really translates really well. Again, great presentation. I love it. Good job.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Oh, so sorry. You're the chairman. You're supposed to ask for it.
Do you want?
Yes, give it back to him so he'll remind me.
I really like the star concept. Just me personally, I like the logos on the bottom a little better, because when I look at the top logo, Osceola, I don't see Osceola as much. I see Ciola.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Kind of hits me. I don't know why, it just does. But I like the star at the bottom. I like the way you integrate it, Tom, but I like the one on the bottom. Great job. I like the simplicity of it. I like your little tagline. Paving has a very interesting meaning in Osceola County.
We don't do near enough of it as we need to do.
Everyone else.
After we've done too much.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
very, very
Admit
nice.
it.
I like that.
Good job.
Thank you all.
Good job.
All right, up next is Neo City Academy. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gould.
I'm Diego Candelario, and we have with us Miss Cable, and we are Future Square.
Such a cool name.
We chose that name particularly because we want to focus on the fact that not only are we the successors of these people, but we want to focus on the future for our successors and people that will come over into Osceola in the future. Okay, so here's our mood board. We used a lot of logos for inspiration, specifically KIPP Academy Elementary, because it really used the tree idea to integrate diversity and community, which are two aspects that are very important to Osceola, as we have different cultures, different races, different sexes, all coming together to make Osceola the welcoming place that it is. We also integrated a lot of agriculture and industry, because again, those are two aspects that the past has led us to where we are.
When we talked about constructing the logo, we wanted to really focus on diversity and unity. We communicated with a lot of different people, and we also had a meeting with Dr. Pace. We really wanted to know what it all meant. So two of the things that she has said is we need to always grow to be better, and we need to value the old but look to the future. This really impacted us because we thought this is always evolving, this is becoming who we are. So this inspired us to use a tree and people. We wanted to represent how there's growth and evolution and how everyone's connected but also on their own pathways and on to be who they want to be. We also, along with the agriculture, incorporated lakes and fields to show that we're Osceola County. We have a lot of them. Along with the colors, we wanted to keep it mellow. We originally were talking about doing primary colors, making it big and bold, but when you look at more mellow, more down-toned colors, they're more inviting. They're saying, hey, this is us. There's nothing too jumpy out about it. We also incorporated in looking from the actual school district website. We took colors from there to really represent the brand.
After a lot of discussion and careful consideration, we actually decided to keep the tagline that the current Osceola County has. We figure it best maintains the welcoming vibe that we've carried on for a lot of time. And we didn't want something so new that it's unrecognizable. We wanted some hint of where we came from. And we think every child, every chance, every day, it best represents how the school board has given us so many opportunities to use our creativeness and our uniqueness and integrate it into our art or our music or anything else that we find valuable to us.
Any questions?
I do, Andrew. First, let me say I actually love this logo. I think it's really good, except for one thing.
No cow.
This is the tough part about it. No, that's not. This is the tough part about this, but let's be real. When I see it, I love the logo. I love the tree. We're growing young minds. We're growing young people. I get it. Like, I love it. And it gives me that agriculture flair. That was me, by the way. I guess what I would add, when I see it, I don't, just a logo, am I seeing the Osceola stick out? So did you guys think about putting it inside of an O? Did you try that or not? Or was it just, should I talk to these guys? Did you guys think about putting it inside of an O?
At one point in time, we did play around with that, but we thought it may look too much like a seal, and I know that was one thing you all said you didn't want, and so, yeah.
So if this process continues beyond today, I would like to see this logo
Have a container.
inside of the O and being Osceola. That's just me, and I know there's 5 of us.
You know what? It would remind me of the agriculture license plate tag.
Yeah. But I think, and we've seen some really great work, and But I do really like this one.
Just for the record, you have a conflict because of your relationship with the cattle?
There's no cows in this one. There is one with a cow, but we're getting.
Okay, sorry. Real quick, we also made versions of the logo being displayed on name tags. What? Yeah.
Okay,
And how did you
let me change
all
what I was
right now.
Let me change what I was about to say.
They want to tell you how they made us.
So we took our logo and we designed it. We actually, our IT man, Mr. Ben,
He left us.
yes, Mr. McClure,
Okay.
yeah.
We don't care
He
about
helped us 3D print and design the logos.
They made them on a 3D printer.
And then
Yes.
added
Use technology.
the magnetic back, and it just sticks on.
Cute. I love it.
So just briefly, I
Sorry.
enjoyed your presentation. You both did a tremendous job. Very good. And I tell you, it's kind of scary, but you handled it so well. The logo, I love it. I mean, it's wonderful. I see the circle already in there because I can just see how everything is really just going around. And but I don't know if that is really important to me personally.
Oh, that's fine. That's what makes this process so difficult.
It's important to you, so I just want to mention, there is a circle there, it's just in white. There's a border, it's just white, and it blends with the paper. But no, I think it's very creative. Again, the parameters were challenging. We didn't want what was trite and overused, and we wanted something that was expressive and very creative and unique. This is, it's all of those points, just perfectly. Well done.
Yeah. And I think what I really enjoyed about this is that you took our tagline and you made it into a visual, because I can see all of the children. Well, is that what maybe I'm
Yes.
projecting? Okay. I can see every child, I think that's really beautiful that you kept something that is very Osceola County School District. You kept it and you incorporated it in a way that was new, very nuanced. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, great job.
Great job.
Good job.
Up next is Osceola County School for the Arts.
So we're keeping Chief Osceola.
Oh, no, yeah, the chief. This is like to use like on apparel.
It wouldn't be fair.
Are we going to take it off?
You don't have to. Do whatever you want.
It's just a remote. I don't want it.
No.
I don't have to vote.
Yeah, I'll put it on. It doesn't work.
If they give me a treat, this I'll wear it.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. We represent Osceola County School for the Arts. I'm Connor Sebas.
I'm Charlie Gomez.
I'm Sarah Boo, and Hannah Torres is unable to present with us, but we are Think Creative Design Group.
At the beginning of our process, we had to look at other logos for inspiration. And our first academic logo, we liked it because it represented a book, but it also used negative space to create the tree. And our next logo, although it's not academic, we like the idea of having two images in one where the gopher represents the Spartan. And in our third logo, we did not like this one because no apples. We like the idea of the silhouette of the student and the possibility for negative space. Our first words that we use when they come to mind for education and academics, education, and Osceola County. Wait, the next one too. We searched those words and we looked for images that represented them. And from those images, we color selected them to create this first color palette, but one of the directions was to make this modern and timeless. So we modernized those colors to create the second color palette.
Here we have the process of our sketches to get to our final product. First we have a sketch by Hannah Torres. We like the Chief Osceola use, but we strayed away from the headdress because it's not traditional with the Seminole Indian style. But we did like the silhouette and profile of Chief Osceola.
In this next one, Hannah Torres also made it. She took the idea of redesigning it literally. So she would make a, sorry.
That's okay.
She made a cattle brand, traditional cattle brand.
This is my sketch. I definitely wanted to keep the shape of the O for Osceola County and incorporated the feather that is in the Chief Osceola picture and also turned it into a fountain pen to tie in with academics.
In my sketch, I used both of Connor's and Hannah's ideas from the horse and the feather and kept the O shape for Osceola.
This is my sketch, and I took the ideas from the logo's previous invention. We like the things we liked and we didn't like, so I took the idea of two images using positive and negative space in one design.
Lastly, we have a sketch, revamped version of my first one, keeping the fountain and the shape of the O for Osceola County, but bringing it more to a modern, realistic, and timeless kind of design. And that all brought us to here, which is our final logo. First, we have the backpack, which is facing to the left, which represents facing the past. Now, the backpack is the silhouette of Chief Osceola in his profile.
You haven't noticed that?
The backpack and the Chief face kind of ties them together for having our knowledge from the past and kind of carrying it with us everywhere we go in the present.
The student, which is facing to the right, to the future, is reading a book representing that we're learning from our past in our present for our future.
The pen that Connor designed is start from the book, which means that we are taking what we learned and then around through the back to carry our past with us and out through the student's eyes so the student can have a vision or insight to write their own futures.
And lastly, we wanted to incorporate the history of Osceola County and their cattle, their past and present.
You didn't see that?
And
No.
It took me a while.
I didn't see.
Wait, hold on. Can you read?
It's the green is the cow.
It's a cow.
It's kind of hard to see for a
Cowhead.
The cow.
See where the neck comes in? That's the horn.
It's like the FedEx arrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see it, but I'll see it later.
It took me a
I'm
while.
good.
I had to read this slide.
Take it out.
Yeah, I did.
Where's a bull? There's not a bull.
I'll
And then
figure it
I finally
It
saw it.
has enough. It has enough imagery.
Very cool.
Oh, okay. It's like when you talk about
And the mix of all these things, getting our knowledge from the past, carrying with us in the present, and taking it forth with us to the future brings us to our slogan, which is leading from the past, learning for the future.
Oh, that's so good.
And this is some collateral examples on things like IDs or a mobile website, official documents, a folder, things like that.
That was extra. They didn't have to do that one.
All right. So this is an example when the average IQ of the team is about 150.
Very sophisticated.
And this is deep, man. Did you consider that? I mean, were you going for this kind of, symbolism that is so, profound and multifaceted?
Yeah, it's simple but complex.
We wanted to tell its story.
I'm surprised that a design like this was created by a group of students that are, this is just amazing. Just amazing. I'm still trying to process how that works. If it wasn't for the ear, I'd be like, okay. No, seriously, it's good presentation, wonderful design. The phrase it's really catchy. You know what? I just don't know if it may be just too much. Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, because I didn't really get all of it in my first review of it last night. I think that this presentation made me really, really understand just how much symbolism and so much that goes into it. But if that's what it takes, to get somebody's attention and to retain, this will definitely do the job. Well done.
So I think it's okay that you don't get it the first time because I looked at it and I was like, this is so good. It's great. It's clean. I can see it. And honestly, I was like, I really like this, And then while you guys were explaining it, and I'm not going to be afraid to say this in a room full of people that most of you don't know, I literally got emotional. And that's what we're trying to understand, right? This is branding, right? You have captured what Osceola County means. I can see Chief Osceola is in the back of every student here. We carry the chief with us into the future. Honestly, I was taken away. I'm breathless. I can't even, like, I'm sorry that I'm an emotional person. This is what happens when we let a girl in. But, I mean, that's what this is about, right? There's layers to it. I think it's okay you don't get it the first time, because you're like, this is really good. I can see this. Or the second time. Well, I got it the second. No, I'm kidding. I think it's okay you don't get it the first time, because the simplicity of it is there, right? It's you can replicate it. It's fine, and I still get something from it. But as someone who grew up here, when you explain that, that was like, that's who we are, and we are carrying the past, even if we're just one generation in, like I am. But you have folks here who are, you know, who've been here a while, and it's still, we still have that connection with that logo. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
My turn?
Your turn.
You have a conflict again, Mr.
I know. Let me say this, I'm not crying or anything. But,
not yet.
But I absolutely love this. I love it took me a minute last night when I saw it, but when I saw the cow head there, I was like, wow, that's great. And then I kept reading. I was like, well, what do these bullet points mean? What am I looking at? And then I saw that. I said, oh, there's something else. Oh, there's something else. I think it's fantastic. I would say this. I think it breaks a few of the rules we laid out. I think there's a little more going on than what we originally wanted. I would actually. I know this is terrible to do in a room full of people, parents and students, everybody. I love this logo. Love it. I would like to see it cleaned up a little bit. Some cleaner lines. I'm probably not a huge fan of the pen, and I don't know why. Somebody said something, I can't get it out of my head. I won't say who. It almost looks like a snake or something at first, and now I can't get that out of my head. But I'm not a huge fan of that. But the backpack with the chief, that's crazy. And then the cow head, it's just, I'm going to start crying. No, I'm joking. I think it's amazing work.
Rest of the year.
And certainly, I would still want to I would want to tweak this a little bit. But I love it. Love it. Congratulations. Great job.
I agree with the other three. I really like this a lot. A little different from Mr. Booth. The pen to me is almost the tie. Mm-hmm. Okay. And maybe if it looked more like a quill of a pen as opposed to, actually from here he's right, it looks a little bit like a snakehead or from this far away. But I think to me it's what makes the cow look like the cow's head. Mm-hmm. One of you referenced the FedEx.
I can see that.
Kind of the hidden look in the FedEx, the arrow, which I really, really like. The piece I do struggle with is we started out simplistic, kind of with a simplistic directive. This is anything but simplistic.
Yes, that's correct. I know.
It's very
highly we don't know what we want, but we'll know.
It's very, very sophisticated. I get it completely, but it helped with the presentation. I don't know, but I certainly know the FedEx symbol too. And I kind of keep comparing it to the two. So,
you don't always see
while at first, when you started, I'll tell you, the sophistication of it scared me a little bit, and the more it's kind of grown on me, it doesn't scare me as much. But very, very, very creative. Very nice job. I like it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Up next is OTEC.
Yes.
Yeah, you can try. You stayed out of it.
These are all my students. This is all you.
Pretty easy right now.
All right, whenever you guys are ready.
Oh. Oh. Very nice.
Bam.
Actually, that's good.
I first want to say thank you to the board, to Reach Headquarters, Rachel and Mr. Smalling, our tech teacher. We really appreciate the opportunity. All right, my name is Giovanni Cedros. I was the content creator.
I'm Sybil Moran, and I was the project coordinator.
My name is Sawyer Strickland, and I was also a content creator.
I'm Giselle Cordero, and I was the art director.
And we are Beyond Design. All right, so with the research phase, we wanted to keep the board members' thoughts in mind with modernizing the logo from the old one and also keeping tradition in mind.
So with that in mind, we saw the likes and the dislikes, and the likes of keeping the county's tradition kept popping up in our minds. We really wanted to have that in there. And the dislikes of just the logo being too old and outdated and wasn't really up with the times.
Now, keeping these ideas in mind, we wanted to go in a new and modern direction. Once we created the mood board, we chose the colors green and blue because we think they represent growth. And we also kind of wanted to show that education can lead to a brighter future.
So, how do you incorporate modern styles with tradition? This was our envision of how we incorporate modernization with our culture and heritage background.
And so the key aspect of the current logo is the feather. So we wanted to take it and make it modern and also keep tradition. Without the feather, without representation of the chief, the word Osceola would just be a word. It would mean nothing.
And we really wanted to keep our tradition in mind and Chief Osceola as the main part of it. And he represented amazing attributes of leadership, being strong in his ideals, and not willing to give up on the things that he held dear to him, which is why we had to include him with this new design.
Sorry. Okay. And now for the colors, we went with this teal color, which goes back to our mood board and the greens and the blues, which you know represents growth. We also wanted to go, a lot of people sometimes they associate red with education, and we just wanted to go in a different direction that we thought was more modern. And now for our secondary options and secondary logos, we wanted to show the flexibility of the logo itself, how you can use it in different ways, and also in different colors. For example, we have an orange version here, but we can cater it to whatever you guys like and to whatever colors you want.
And since we feel so strongly about Chief Osceola, we didn't want him to get lost in the past. We didn't want people to think that we forgot about him. So we decided that our best tagline would be, "We know tradition."
Oh, so good.
And so here we just have some different examples of the many uses of our logo and the easiness of applying it to different forms of media that we can use all throughout the county. And also we have some samples that we have here of just the process that we went through, and some other little tidbits in here that we would like to share with you.
Like business cards and school IDs and stuff. That's all.
Do you want to pass it out to them?
Yeah.
So, just pass it.
And we want to give a great thank you for this opportunity. It was a really big one. I know moving here from 7 years ago, I didn't think this was actually possible. Thank you. I didn't think this was a thing. But we all thankful for this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I can just kind of see from your, can you go back one slide? That one? As I'm kind of looking at the two feathers, I just see opportunities for schools to incorporate the logo into their stuff with their color,
Yeah.
the school
The
colors,
different colors.
Of the feathers.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really
Probably wouldn't
neat.
want to put blue and gold anywhere.
Yeah, most of them be blue and gold. Yeah. So I like it. I like this. Once again, it's kind of simple. The O's very clean. The feathers really give the O. I like it. I think
It's very unique. It's very Osceola County. Like, again, I feel connected to that. That's the brand of Osceola County. So, very good.
I will. I'll say this. I I thought I was very specific in saying I was done with the chief. I didn't want it. And then these kids bring this forward, and this is really awesome. So it's like, again, this is what makes this process fun, but also tough. I'll say this: if you had to force our hand today, my hand anyway, and say you got to leave here with the logo, this would be it. And no, I say that because it seems ready to go. It's what we really wanted for was that simple touch. It still says Osceola. I was right going along the lines. You were talking about the color. I'm like, hey, quit talking about the color. Forget about that because every school can make the logo their colors. And I was thinking the same thing. So, and I think one of the logos I brought forward that I found was the Tacoma, Washington School District, and the font is very similar, and the O is very similar. I thought it was probably the most modern looking, and I loved it. And you've done something modern with the feathers and the font. Yeah, if I had to pick one today, I had to leave here with one because these are my only choices, and I couldn't do anything else. This would be the one.
So far.
Because I think what's that?
So far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah,
I'm just so
3
far.
left.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, but to say that, and what I mean is, we gave the modern but simple, yet tells a story as well, and is kind of customizable.
Yeah.
Absolutely
But
customizable.
It's a beautiful logo, it really conveys a lot with very little.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what a logo, that's all you want in a logo. So that's why I kind of feel the same way as Mr. Roof is that, this one pretty much is very, very safe. But it is safe, all right? It is safe. Not as expressive as some of the previous ones, but that's why it's so adaptable. The idea is that you just heard about the different colors. After people see the logo, they'll associate those feathers, not so much the O, as a matter of fact, but they'll associate those feathers with the Osceola County School District. And it does have that tie-in to the chief, because we are keeping the seal. So I say that it's definitely excellent work. It's beautiful. You should be proud of yourself. Well done.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, exactly.
We had no influence on the orange.
Wait, also these are extra thank you gifts for
Thank you.
What school is this?
OTEC?
This is OTEC?
OTEC, right?
OTEC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Beautiful
All
Oh.
work.
right, Poinciana High School, you're up next.
Beautiful. Well done.
St. Cloud, you're on deck.
On deck. You were telling me about chocolate in my tea, told you. And then it goes to the side.
So you've got Poinciana, St. Cloud, and
I don't want it in my tea.
These guys are telling.
No, this is
Poinciana.
Poinciana.
No, those guys in the front, because they're already wearing their logos.
Yes.
I like it.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. My name is Keith Espino, and here we have Rebecca Arroyo, Haley Pazzi, and Jonathan Aviles. Okay, fine. Mr. Arce, our digital design teacher, and we are Poinciana High School Design Factory. But we couldn't have done it without the assistance of Ms. Shaffer, our project manager through the process. I'm sorry for the typos.
All good.
So, how did we begin tackling this project? When you take on any project, no matter how simple or complex, everything begins with research. And from this, we have learned that through his life, Chief Osceola, who fought for freedom and peace, became an advocate for different tribes of the Seminoles during the Indian Removal Act. He was a great leader, an inspirational figure that ignited a nation. And in his honor, and to continue this legacy, we wanted to create a logo that would represent and reflect these qualities. With further investigation, we have also learned when he was born, he was given the name Little Owl by his Cree tribe. And at this point, we knew we had something special. We had something special, and we decided to expand on the idea of an owl. We wanted to represent wisdom, education, and passion, and then other elements like fire were added. We incorporated dynamic lines to symbolize books and a pen-like spirit. After many revisions and many sleepless nights, we reached a logo that we are proud to present to our school district. And then this is our logo, the Osceola School District, and our tagline is Lead, Inspire, and Ignite.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
Lead, inspire, and ignite. I mean,
That's
that's
a good
great.
tagline.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good tagline, and it's so simple and like concise and very good. I didn't know it was okay. I just got that it was an owl, and I love that you guys found a way to find something that is still associated with education, but it's not an apple or a pencil, right? So you guys still found a way to like bring that out. So awesome job with that.
And it was a fun and challenging project.
I was going to say
and it was a pleasure
You're
to be a
on.
part of. And because of this, we have learned so much as to further establish and cultivate our skills as graphic designers. This was truly an amazing experience. Thank you.
We also brought you guys a little something.
Look at that. Awesome.
Thank you.
Taking that to
Play-
work, yeah.
Get the old chief out.
But it is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Very good move.
Holy
Very
smokes,
good move.
that's so, I love it.
All right. Any feedback for them, or?
Yeah, I actually really like this logo. I don't know if it's the right design for a school district. I'll say that right off the bat. I love the tagline. I get the owl now when it makes a ton of sense now. I'd love the design. I think it's very clean, very simple. You've got the pen in there, but it's not overstated. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but and I know Ms. Castillo was just saying this, and I have to say the same thing. I've never had so much fun over 4 years that I've been on this board. We talk about a lot of serious issues, and I've got a lot of heat from pushing for this new logo. And Dana's looking at me, but I've never had so much fun. This is fantastic, and what it tells me is, look at all the amazing talent that we have right here at home. And when we first did that, tried to go through this process, it was my mistake of saying, no, let's go out and let's work with some designers and let's do something. I was wrong. I can say that right now. This was the way to go, because this is really amazing what you guys have came up with. Not just the logo. I mean, and again, I'll comment on it again. Lead, inspire, ignite. I love that.
That's awesome.
I love Ignite. I've never even thought about using Ignite, but it makes perfect sense. It's great work. Great work. That's my 2 cents.
No, the tagline to me,
It's great.
No, I interrupted them, so I'm gonna not say.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
If I could just share with the board, I also think that, I mean, the bling was not required and is not going to
Yes.
influence the final decision. But we appreciate it.
Hey,
But more-
part of the process.
But more importantly, it really shows the creativity, the talent, the experience, and the workplace skills that our students are developing. The things that they could take out into the workforce and market tomorrow. Whether it's creating logos for cups, or using a 3D printer, or T-shirt screen printing. Mr. Booth was quite impressed by the truck magnet, our OTEC
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
who are here. So
Look
just
good.
a variety of things so that our students are able to produce today that they can carry with them into the future. So I want to thank again Melanie and our great teachers and principals for leading this practical, hands-on, incredibly experiential process for our students as we move forward.
I've said this a half a dozen times, that when I was in school, and then before that when I was a kid, whenever they'd say that the ensemble from the high school's coming to play their instruments, and everybody, oh my gosh. And every time I go to something now and they say, oh, the jazz ensembles, they're like, oh my gosh, these guys are awesome. And the same thing is happening here. You say, if this would have happened when I was in school, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we had a lot of talented folks, don't get me wrong.
There weren't very many of us.
Yeah, you know,
Those people work for
I
it
went
now.
to school with an individual who is now a professional artist out and then makes a killing and doing professional artwork and very creative and a friend of mine. But to be able to have this many kids, this many options to come up with this and is great. And I'll say this: never underestimate schmoozing the person. I'm actually being serious here. Don't underestimate that. People are suckers for stuff like this. So good job.
Just, this is not completely pertinent to this presentation, but one thing that I'm kind of doing as we go through this, and I can tell you if I was at work and we were doing this, and we had hired these 5 or 6 or 7 different firms to do this project, I can almost guarantee where this would end up. If we had hired them and we owned the output, it would be some combinations from several of these.
I have that written down.
Pulled together.
Yep.
So in my mind, I don't know what this thing, where it'll turn out. But I can tell you in my own mind, I know there's several things already I would put together.
Yep. Same. All right.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Full box.
This is my group, so I'm gonna sit right here.
You guys got Kelly. Wow.
All right.
In a world that's ever-changing, technological advancements are upon us. The school district of Osceola County logo is outdated. It's time for a change. We are the future, present, and the future, present. We are the we are the future, present, and will be a part of our legacy. We want to take a minute to introduce our team and explain the concept of our design.
Hi, I'm Chris. This is my friend Abby. Unfortunately, our team was kind of cut in half as 2 of them couldn't make it. We wish you luck, Brandon and Karina. We're sorry you couldn't be here. You're missing a lot. Let's get started. Our school quote that we've learned ever since we've gone to high school is that failure is not an option. We have got to strive for success, and when we started this competition, we're like, we are striving for success. We are striving to win and change this logo to make something that will be part of the next generation.
Okay, so these are our preliminary sketches. As you can see, it's a light bulb. Our light bulb seems to be a shape that spoke to all ages. We wanted it to feel warm and inviting. You can see it has orange colors representing it's modern and educational, fun and lively, generating ideas and thoughts in all grades. And it doesn't exclude any age group.
Really quickly, when we were making this, it was, let's be honest, the creative process is not pretty. It is very messy. You have many sketches from my sketchbook here. It is very messy. You can see that we messed around a lot with different things, but the light bulb was our biggest idea. It was very bright.
So this is our logo. School District of Osceola County. You can see that it represents bright futures. So the light bulb equals, it all has access to bright futures through the School District of Osceola County. The pencils equal leadership and accountability. 1 pencil for students and then 1 pencil for the community. And then both, when connected by the school district of Osceola County, provide brilliance and guidance to the community overall. These are the main colors that we chose. We have very bright colors, yet there's also a gray that we found to kind of balance it all out. There were some alternative colors that we were thinking about using. Unfortunately, we do not have an alternative image to show you all. This was the final design that we came up with. Let me explain really quick. Obviously, we have the pencils here. It's kind of meant to be like the filaments in the light bulb. Does that make sense to you all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. We wanted to keep it very clean, very simple. Obviously, the St. Cloud District ties it all together. It just binds everything, makes it all work. And it allows for our bright students to just come up with blossom and be bright and what's the right word? Shine.
Good job. Person.
Ignite.
You guys have questions
Yep.
or feedback? Yep.
This is extremely creative design. I mean, you know, and again, I love the creativity here. You know, speaking with Mr. Soto, as this process today started, as this meeting started, he pointed out that the SDOC, again, I didn't see it right off the bat, and then
We tried that.
and once I did though, it just, yeah, again, it makes it great.
Ties it all
Yeah, I mean,
together.
it's
Yes. really
good.
It's really fun to kind of sit here,
Yes.
because every one of these, I've seen things at the end I didn't see at the beginning.
I mean, I can see that sewn on a T-shirt or something like that, or on a hat, and
Yeah.
that looked great. I mean,
I like the light bulb and the earlier one, the sun, are the same bright image in my mind. I like the visual.
you know, one group of you was supposed to come in here with a really awesome design, and the rest of you were supposed to all stink. And then when this process was over,
Yeah, y'all didn't make this as easy as you were thinking.
You didn't do that for us. So.
We're sorry.
Shame
We
on
had to make your job very difficult.
Sorry,
Yes.
we're so great.
And you have. And you have. Absolutely.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, up next is Tohopa-Caliga High School.
Yeah. You can try.
You have to wait patiently.
Patiently.
So, first of all, thank you everyone for this opportunity. It's truly been an amazing experience, just, you know, as young graphic designers and artists, just to see how, you know, we've been given just this phenomenal chance. I mean, first, it almost seems like too awesome and unbelievable because, you know, first a new STEAM school gets built with a digital design program, and then we get an opportunity to design a new logo for the district, and that's
Great.
just amazing. So, introductions. I am John. I'm Aaron.
I'm Vanessa, and we together combined our names to make our ad agency more unique, resulting with the name of JB Ad Agency, as you can see at the back of your
Nice.
Very cool.
During the research phase, we wanted to look up different logos and images that kind of were related to what we wanted to make, like with STEAM and different ideas about creativity and things. It's like we experimented with different color palettes, as you can see up here, and directions we wanted the logo to go, and like we discussed the strengths and weaknesses of the current logo.
And then that's why for our concept phase, we made sure to use warm colors, like you can see in our mood board. And we made sure to keep the diversity, the simplicity, and the sustainability in our logo. And most importantly, we wanted to bring it forward to the future by using STEAM. That's why our mission is to inspire learners and incoming students to be at their best, have their highest potential, and be productive citizens.
So after we developed various concept sketches and various directions we wanted our logo to go in, we got feedback from everyone, and after we got the feedback, we decided to keep the idea of a spiral, always going in motion and moving forward, not into the future, going off in different directions, expanding in all areas. And we also wanted to keep and that's how we started moving towards our final logo, with the idea of central at a light bulb, which represents not only a brighter future, but light bulbs also represent, like a new idea in your head, so it kind of represents how the school district and your education is truly where it's truly the source of all your knowledge, and it's the foundation for what you know and what you do in the world.
So we finally refined our logo, make it with a little rounded aspect in order to give it a little bit of motion and action. As you can appreciate, the focal point of the logo is a bolt, but not literally. It means light for bright futures, the term of creativity, and all the theme of making new ideas and innovation as well. We went into a STEAM direction, so we incorporated these items right here. Oh, I'm sorry.
You were close.
Yep.
Yeah. How important it is to include the technology in the education process. The feather is a symbolic part of the logo because it represents our county, Osceola, making honor to the chief Osceola. And at the same time, it represents all the branches of literature. Our tagline is educating for the future. We wanted to make it clear, to the point, and keep it simple, and just to express what the school district means to us.
And just to show you guys, we decided to bring some merchandise, which we did collaborate with the studio art team in our school and the robotics class, so they can see how our logo.
Nice.
You see, we made obviously our T-shirts. We have mugs, hats, just to show the potential of this logo. And with our robotics department,
Thank you.
Is that why you wanted this? You wanted?
I wanted all this.
He's like, I need this.
I get. You decide now. I just want to.
That's right.
This is great. So specifically, what are the three? Is that a specific something? Yeah. It is circuit.
Yes.
Okay.
The idea, and it just kind of represents, robotics and engineering, because these are truly like we're living. To me, what I think the star represents is how we're living in the world is really changing right now, and we're moving forward, and there's constant change going on, and technology is becoming more and more a part of our lives. And I think that using it for the better is really something that is going to affect education and move us forward.
Oh, we also made you can see
So the keychains and this version of the logo, we worked with our robotics department and their 3D printer, and after a few failed attempts, we finally got out a couple of really good versions that we're proud of.
What I love about this is it would be extremely identifiable.
Yeah.
Like if you were to if you branded with this, once it was there, you would say, hey, this is Osceola County, because it's extremely unique, which is what I love about it. I love the feather wrapping around the light bulb, the gears, the circuits. It all says, like you said, STEAM, STEM, whatever. But honestly, like if you just look at this alone, today you don't recognize this, but if this was the logo, it wouldn't take very long. All you'd have to see is that, and you would know Osceola County School District. So, job well done.
I feel energy when you look at that.
I do.
Yeah.
It does have a feel. There's something about it.
But I still.
Movement, energy, and action.
Go ahead.
So, go ahead.
Ignite. I still see our past, our present, and our future in this logo. Which again, for me, someone who grew up here, and I think I've talked about this before, I don't ever want to forget about where we came. Even though I'm technically from Miami, when I came here and I really embraced the culture, I don't ever want that to be lost on you or anybody else. So I can still see our past in there, but I love that it's so, it's like moving. So it's a constant movement of ebb and flow between the past, the future. You can see that as technology, but it's not like screaming at you like, we're tech, It's still very beautiful and delicate at the same time. So I really like it. Yeah, very good. Good job, guys.
Good job.
Yes.
like a lot of
and
time.
thank all the
No, me,
teachers
I
that
do.
put a lot
I
of
make-
time into
that's my
this,
own
and also all of our
stupid
students.
rule.
So thank you, everyone. So now, board, we're turning it over to you.
Yeah. So
ahead.
I'll since I got us into this mess, I guess. I guess what I would see going forward is, personally, I want to take some time to kind of to digest all this. Like I said, I love a lot
Mr. Booth,
of
let me just
things.
say, you guys cannot make a decision tonight because this is a work session.
Correct. I
just want everybody to know that. That's
Thank you for
serious,
saving
yeah.
us from.
That's why.
You can always say it, even though. Anyway, no. What I'd like to do, because I think Mr. Thacker brought it up. I see some room. I see we can head in the right direction here with something. We're absolutely in some combinations of some things. And I'm going to be honest. There's logos at first glance I saw that have grown on me since. There's ones that popped that you just said, okay, that's it. And then there's others that you say, well, I'd love that part of that or that part of that. So I would certainly like to take some time and Kelly, I guess maybe you can tell us what do you think? What's your advice on what you think the best way to proceed here? After hearing that, and I don't know if Miss Terry or Kelvin feels that way as well.
My only feedback would be that it's okay to combine elements of things, but I would do it in a list of like, I really love this about this.
Yeah.
You know, don't provide direction to the
Mhm.
creatives, right, of like what to do. Give it in a way that's like, we really like this tagline, you know, provide direction to incorporate that with whatever direction you choose to. But I think you can pick one that you're like, we really like this, and then say, but I like X, Y, and Z of these other ones. And that doesn't mean that we're going to layer them all on top of each other and
Yeah.
then it's going to look like a giant monster, because I have had clients do that and it's not
Yeah.
fun. But I think that it's totally normal to choose, you know, we'll put 3 or 4 designs in front of a client and it's normal for them to like one part of another and another part of another, and it just means that you have a lot of really good options. But my catchphrase is that some things are never done, they're just due, and so you have to make a decision. Not tonight, but whenever you're ready.
When we started this project, I certainly didn't know how it was going to go, and I wanted to tell you that I thought more likely than not we would kind of end this with going with, I would say
I think we're on to
for
something
me, the
here.
exact opposite has happened. I don't know that I think any one of these by itself is it. I will tell you, every one of these is a lot closer than where I thought we'd get to. I started out in my mind 3 months ago when we talked to them, thinking that I wanted something that tells a lot. As we went through this, I started to change my view a little bit to maybe not saying a lot, but one focus point is better. So I'm probably not even looking for
So
what
what you're saying is you don't even know it.
don't even know what I want. But I will tell you, I think we're onto something and we can get there pretty.
So what would be your timeline
I
for,
always want a timeline.
we need a timeline.
Things are due.
People are waiting.
They're never done. They're just
Pins and needles.
Well, let me ask you, let me just throw this out.
Let the chairman decide.
No. What if?
No, the timeline.
If we could narrow down on 5, 7 things that we like, features possibly, and you could feel free to say no. Could the group as a whole work on those features?
I think
The ones that wanted to. I mean,
Yeah.
some may say I've had enough of it.
I think so like if you were qualifying a team to work on the design, I would pick the team you feel most capable to carry out what your vision of the logo should
Some
be.
I feel capable with words. Some
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah, right.
more capable with visuals.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And they would volunteer too. I mean, they would have to be willing
Yeah,
to
yeah,
move
that's what I
forward,
mean.
right, too.
Certainly, it's not a mandate.
Yeah, I don't have
Kicked out
a,
of school or something.
no, I don't have an opinion either way. We
Yeah.
can work with whoever's
I mean,
willing.
what do y'all think? I mean, I guess
So combine a few teams that we thought
or
were.
concepts, and maybe she picks the concepts, you know, whoever's involved. But I don't care who. I mean, if,
We could definitely come up with like positions and make it like an agency and then decide who's going to get to do what piece of.
okay, you're way over my head on that.
Sorry.
So would you, at the next board meeting, could you come with the 4 or 5 things that you each like?
I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do want to.
I would
I've gotta
actually
absorb
feel
it.
more. I would feel better submitting it, just submitting it to Kelly, that to submit out to the teams instead of having to go through this whole process on the dais again until we get to that final point where we say okay.
If I could make a suggestion in
Please.
working with how to bring
Yes.
people together sometimes to get to a decision, we did Teacher of the Year today. Sometimes it helps if each member of the team says to someone, maybe Kelly or Dana, or whomever you choose, these are the top 4 things that I liked, or the top 4 pieces of these pieces that we liked. And then Kelly and Dana can see where there is already consensus.
Yeah, so we don't have to share each, so we don't hate
No.
each
So
other.
why don't you
You
give
really
them to
can't.
me,
I mean,
and then I'll work with Kelly,
Okay.
and we'll combine.
Yes,
Okay.
I think
Okay,
that's
so get them
great.
to me
By next Tuesday.
by next Tuesday.
So we're choosing elements and not specific teams? Is that what we're doing?
I would stay away from teams and look at the designs and say, I liked X design or X feature of this design. I liked that. I liked the font of this one. I liked the tagline of this one. You know what I'm saying? Or which image was most important to you, or if there's one particular logo, as opposed to saying, I like this team of people.
What do you
When
think,
you
Terry?
make
You don't look
suggestion.
comfortable with that. What are you
Well,
thinking?
That's just a suggestion.
Can I-
don't really have a.
No, I understand. I understand. Only because I feel like part of the process was to have one team to really take ownership of the logo design. Am I wrong? Because I wasn't
No.
here when the decision was made.
It
So
was the opportunity to finesse one team's logo was
right.
how it was pitched.
So I feel, and this is just me, you know, I feel like if we pick elements from different logos, then we're really just creating a different team.
You can
So-
provide direction to that team that you do choose if that's the way we want to keep it.
And we can ask them
to
to
say
incorporate some of
this
your ideas.
ignite or whatever if
Okay.
that's the word you like, but maybe that's
I
not
do
the
like
team
that.
you know, whatever. So
We
like,
do like that.
I think
Yeah.
that's normal.
So do I understand, I just need to understand something here.
Yeah, because I'm a little confused on what I need to give you now.
Yeah.
The reason is because, I mean, we're not gonna be deciding on the logo, but we are deciding at this time that we're gonna go forward with something that was presented today.
Yeah, a team.
I think we can
Correct?
get there. I don't know if I
Because
would go that far
because
yet.
if we're saying that then.
But I think, I don't want to make that commitment yet, but I do think I have confidence.
So we are
Can we
picking our
pick our
design
top-
team to
Our
finish.
top,
big-
maybe top 3 designs or whatever?
No, not, but we're gonna give
No,
them.
we're
All right.
giving it to them,
So-
but
So the alternative,
So
Mr.
maybe
Chair.
send the top 3 your teams in priority order, 1,
Okay.
2, 3, and then if there's specific features of of somebody
Mm-hmm.
else's logo that you liked, you could give top 3 teams, top 3 features.
got it.
But
That's what I
think
This is
understood.
dinner tomorrow night, so
Yeah.
I will win.
So to make it clear, because what you said is where I was going, is that I guess that what we're doing here is saying, all right, so here's the ones, we could rank them
Yeah.
however way we wish, and then each one provides some kind of guidance as to something we may want to see more or less of.
What
And
you
then-
like about it, I think.
And then, once Kelly receives that, she'll see by frequency which one is pretty much more preferred, or the top 3, and then get it, and then we'll have another one of these information sessions to decide. Does that sound where you were going?
Yes, that was what I was thinking,
Okay.
sir, but that's up to the chair to
Well,
decide.
I just wanted to state it like that because it sounds like we have at least, we know what we're doing at this point, you know, and what we, and the
I agree with
expectation.
everything except the part about what we know. What
That we know what we're doing? Well,
That is-
almost.
And actually, if
Kelly will help us out.
if this was at work, we would be picking a design team. that People say, I love the idea of this, that's not what I want, but I trust these people, and that's what we would be picking.
Yes.
So by Tuesday, you will give me your top 3 and give us an idea about what you really like about those 3.
I just
We'll
don't.
start from there.
I don't see any reason why, and I've brought this up before, if not the best feedback, but I'll say it again. I don't understand why that once we get down even to saying, okay, we say is kind of our top 2 or 3, why there can't be a collaborative process or a team that didn't make that design could take that design and maybe try to do something with that. I know in the art world that may not be the thing to do, but we are all part of the same team. Ultimately, we're all part of the Osceola County School District. So it's kind of like we're all part of the same company, and we're just working in different departments right now. So.
You're right. It's your process.
It's not like these are all different ad agencies.
It was pitched to them as a competition.
Mr. Booth's worried about
So
losing
could we-
the bull.
Right.
Superintendent, so pretty much we're going to follow that process. We're going to go ahead, Chairman.
Yes.
All of us by Tuesday say, hey, here are the ones that I like the best in an order.
Yep.
With guidance of whatever we want, more or less, on the
Give them the
designs.
information you want with it.
So then Kelly will figure out which ones are going to be the ones that are going to come back with their refined, if it needs to be refined, so that we can select from.
And I would just ask, do you want it to be a combination of students or in certain teams, or do you want it to
Then
be the team who had the most votes, so to speak?
I think that, if I could just say this last thing
apologize.
is that, no, not to apologize for it, Terry. I think that from what I understood from superintendent and yourself, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is that we shouldn't be involved with the team, with what it is. We should be focused on the design. And so it's going to be the same team that's going to be receiving the input and doing whatever they're going to do for the final product that we're going to be choosing from, correct? Does that make sense? So we're not going to be involved with teams.
You're not, but I
Right.
think you're going to tell us, we like this one, this one, this one, and if there's consensus, then that's the winner.
That's the one.
Okay.
That will take
That's
the
the one.
input from the board
And then we
with
can
their
tweak.
design and go forth and then bring you back a revised one.
Okay.
Dr. Pace, not to throw a wrinkle, there are 4 of you. So if you don't have consensus, is the board going to authorize Dr. Pace and the team to make the decision? Or do you want it coming back to you to make the pick?
There surely should be a consensus on narrowing.
Tim will still, Mr. Weisser,
But-
excuse me, will have to.
I'm just saying, if there isn't, do you want Dr. Pace and the
Typically,
team?
there is. We'll take it
Right.
back to them.
No, I think this needs to come back to us.
Okay, good. Then we know what to do.
If I could just make one more comment, Chair, if you don't mind. I think the students have to be commended, not just
Yes.
for,
Absolutely.
not just for the creative work that you've done. And the commitment that you've shown to seeing this project through. It was new, it was fuzzy when they're giving you direction like, I don't know what I want, but I'll know when I see it. But also for the elegance and eloquence and
Right.
poise that you showed tonight presenting to this group of people. There are grown-up people who still tremble at the thought of that
Yep.
kind of a public presentation.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you are to be sincerely commended for that.
And I will tell you, we had a very exciting conversation about bus routes before you got in here.
It was
And
riveting.
we had 2 news networks in here filming that, and unfortunately,
what
they
they
should have
should
been in
have
here
filmed.
filming this.
This is what they should have done.
So stay tuned. Go ahead, Mr. Booth.
Oh, I was just gonna say again, this is the most fun I've had in over 4 years of
good.
being on this board. This is the best meeting that I've, been through, and it's because it involved the kids and all their hard work, and the teachers too, the educators that were part in guiding this, and the collaboration with community leaders and private business, bringing our private homegrown businesses into the schools and utilizing their expertise and their talent to help grow them. And again, if you stay in this industry, or a lot of industries, you're gonna have to do that 1,000 times. Get up in front of people that write your checks, or that you hope to get a check from, and make a pitch to them, and try to win and try to do the best job that you can. And so getting the opportunity to do that as a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, that's a big deal, I think. So,
I think it is too.
And
I think you all, a few of you were a little nervous, to be expected, even with just a little bit of nervousness. Your content carried you.
I want to clarify one thing before you wrap it up. So it's okay though if I say, like I said, hey, I wanted to see this one with like an O around it or whatever, if I say that kind of stuff, then that can come back, right? And then, so we're not just picking, we are going to get some,
And I think
a little bit back.
It
and
helps
then
us
go
make
forward.
sure that we know, like, you might like more of a container direction versus an open, free flowing.
Gotcha.
You know, like
Okay.
that.
Okay, so
I'm
to
good.
our team, stay tuned. As soon as we know something, we'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, good job.
Clarence, the medical.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Y'all can go. This is,
It's something different. See you guys.
It's a riveting conversation.
we're on adjourn. In the next, we're gonna have a workshop on the 19th, about some clinic stuff. And if y'all would like to touch base with Frank in the meantime, if you've got time in your schedule, I'd like y'all to look at a totally different format of the clinic.
I'll call each of you.
You want to set up meetings?
Well, actually,
Y'all would meet with him, talk
Ricky,
to him.
actually,
You gotta do it one-on-one with him.
I'd like to arrange to take you to the Rosen. Okay. Terry, I'd want to arrange to take you to the Rosen Hotel Clinic.
Oh, okay.
Set up for his employees.
Okay.
Talking with them
Yeah.
about their basically.
So crazy yesterday and today. Oh my gosh.
We spend $3 buckets a month. We pay $800,000 a year to Florida Hospital to manage the facility. They then get taxed $2 in the second bucket, and then they get $50 million in the third bucket. And there's no incentive for them.
That's what I think they changed my
We're looking at placing that first bucket, the Rosen, to no change in the 800, and there's no incentive for them to let people get into those other buckets, like he did out there, so that they can have a very holistic approach and literally work with every employee to monitor them, to get them diet, and it's a whole different model as opposed to we make money if you go.
That would work with our employees.
They believe it works.
That's gonna be where I will be.
I'm going to tell you right now,
Kelly, can you
if we
take the
don't
one
do it,
and
we're
put it
going to
inside
replicate the
this
same
one?
damn mess we've got.
Yeah.
So
Larry,
worth the shot.
So which one did you
That's
post
the point, and they'll be totally
Picture.
Oh, I was trying to pay
You know what it is?
When you said I would take a picture.